Welcome back to another live feed. Good morning. Welcome to those who are going to be listening today. Hope you subscribe to the channel with this content. Freedom in Christ Study Bible. Here we go. Team on this week study, week 33, prayer and praise. Psalm 95, levels of prayer. Let's get into it. All right, let's go. Psalm 95. And it reads, Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before him with thanksgiving. Extol him with music and song. For the Lord is the great God, the great King, above all gods. In his hand are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. Come, let us bow down and worship. Let us kneel before the Lord, our Maker, for he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, the flock under his care. Today, if you hear his voice, not harden your hearts as you did in Meribah, as you did that day at Massa in the desert, where your fathers tested and tried me, though they had seen what I did. For 40 years I was angry with that generation. I said, there are people whose hearts go astray. They have not known my ways. So I declared an oath in my anger, and shall never enter my rest. That's it. Conclusion of Psalm number 95. Thanks for tuning in. Whoever hit the like, who's tuning in right now, I just finished reading about, that was a prayer. I just finished reading about Psalm 95 from the Freedom in Christ Study Bible. Thanks for saying people tuning in. Hit the like button. Now, Psalm 95 is a model for approaching God in prayer. It begins with praise and thanksgiving. The Apostle Paul seldom mentioned prayer in the New Testament, like conveying an attitude of gratitude. I have not stopped giving thanks for you, remembering you in my prayers. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving. Present your requests to God. Devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful. Be joyous always. Pray continuously. Give thanks in all circumstances. There are 3 levels of communicating with God in prayer. Each level is covered with praise and thanksgiving. At the beginning of our Christian experience, we make prayer lists and present our requests to God. There's certainly nothing wrong with this. In James chapter 4, verse 2 and 3 says, You do not have because you do not ask God. When you ask, you do not receive, because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. But the Psalms expands this point by saying, If I had cherished sin in my heart, the Lord would not have listened. This is from Psalm 66, verse 88. Psalm 66, verse 18. We will struggle in prayer if we do not get beyond level 1, the level at which the communication is only one way. The second level of prayer is a level of personal and two-way communication. Prayer is the language of our relationship with our Heavenly Father. If we hear his voice as we personally humbly approach him, we are not to harden our hearts. The word here is verse 7 means to listen so as to obey. God's prayer list will probably not be the same as ours. The first items on God's list are issues that concern our relationship with him. So if there are unresolved moral issues that we have never confessed to God, rest assured that they will be at the top of his list. That is why the psalmist cautions us not to harden our hearts. All those distracting thoughts that we struggle with while we are petitioning God at prayer level 1 are either from God or from the enemy, but allowed by God to get our attention. But we should actively deal with whatever comes to our minds during prayer. There's nothing we can't talk to God about because he already knows the thoughts and attitudes of our hearts. So going to Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12 and 13. So when prayer becomes personal, we begin to pray continually. Intercessory prayer, the third level of prayer, then becomes possible. There are few true intercessors. Christians who are intimate enough with God to hear his voice and obey Intercessors hear from God since the burden to pray. They continue in prayer until the burden lifts. Seldom, if ever, is intercessory prayer undertaken in public. Intercessors usually pray in the privacy of their homes, often late at night. God accomplishes much of his work. 3. These dear saints who know how to pray. 9 people tuning in, 10 people tuning in. Thank you so much. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Hope you're enjoying the content. I just finished reading about levels of prayer. Psalm 95, Freeman Christ State Bible. Thank you so much. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Be back at 11:45 for another one. The 50 sports duos that were dynamic. We're going to come back with that. Karl Malone and John Stockton. 8 people tuning in. Thank you so much. Till then, talk to you soon.